the Irish have held something on for a long time, and in terms of large beings, many of these large beings ended up migrating across Europe. They came from, many of them came out of the inner earth. They came out of Mongolia, came across the plains. They migrated north and south. This is where you get the southern ones went, let's say, into Sumer. Some of them went to Egypt and across northern Africa. This is why you have all the legends across northern Africa of the very large beings, and this is where large skeletons will form. The other branch went through Europe, Germany, France, England, eventually settling up there in Ireland. Ireland is rich with history. The land is very much alive. The Irish have been hit very hard, very, very hard by the economic downturn. Just a few years ago, they were floating high, and many things have crashed. The Irish know the power of the paranormal world. And so before you go there, Randy, and before any of you make a journey to another country or to a place that is an energy portal or where there's a lot of old history, you can, if you have the availability, really wonderful thing to do when you're making a special trip. We know Sarah and Peter are going to go to England and Scotland. You might want to, if you have the opportunity, in a sweat lodge, to dedicate your sweat lodge to journeying to the land, and in the sweat lodge you are going to let the spirits know from here that you are coming to their country, and you're going to ask permission from them to probe and to look, and you work with them from far away. You let them know when you are coming, and they will love it. And they will open everything for you through synchronicity. This is a powerful technique that all of you can use, how to explore the dimensions. The thing about Ireland, you can go on a byway, a highway, go down a path over a stream and jump some fences and walk along some greenery, and then someone will say to you, here, this is a historical spot. No marker, no nothing. They know the legends. So intend to connect with the legends and get some good guidance, and you can have a very, very rich experience. We'd also like to point out to all of you that when you are of metaphysically oriented nature as you are, but also if you are clueless, it works. But it is really prominent when you are metaphysically oriented. In this lifetime, because of the way the earth is set up, and you take it for granted to a large degree that you have airplanes and boats and credit cards, and you can move around if you have the money and the will easily, yes? Yeah. This is new. This is really new. This has only been around for 30 years. Do you understand? It's only been since the 80s that people have charged trips and gone to where they want to go in the world. Now, why do you go to certain places? Metaphysical people and the clueless will be drawn automatically to places that are very important on your timelines. Very important in the multidimensional expression. So many of you go to where on the multidimensional timelines you are already living. That's why we said to Randy and to any of you, if you are going to make some big journey, do a sweat lodge if you can. If not, just do a ceremony. Light a candle at home or put a nice fire in the backyard and say, Ireland, Italy, Spain, Portugal, wherever you are going, I'm speaking to the spirits, the ancestors, the land. I'm coming. I'm going to visit again. Please open to me. I want to put this together. Now, the spirits, the land are saying, oh my gosh, finally someone is wanting to heal this, and they will help you just because you have your wits about you to announce this. You understand the power that there is, Randy? Mm. And Peter and Sarah, you understand you are going to walk some timelines?
Yes.
Mm. It looks like you are going to teach for a conference, but you are going to weave some things together. Who else has a question?
This is Daniel.
Daniel?
You said that the ancient quote-unquote gods said they were going to come back. Is there going to be something that they're going to look like they did come back or actually are?
Well, understand that when these gods promise that they are going to be back in a year and a day, their year may be very different than your year. This is why in certain terms you have the idea of the second coming of Jesus, the whole idea that Jesus is going to return. This is a Christian point of view, and that these are the days of what do they call tribulation and all of this. The global elite, they have a little bit of a different interpretation. They in some ways, many of them are hoping, planning, and wanting these gods to return and to take them with them when the gods leave again. There are people on the planet who believe they are trapped here. And these would be the descendants of some of these visitors. In Sumerian terms, Sumer was the center of the civilization 6,000 years ago. Sumer, those with the god genes, so to speak, have eventually winnowed their way down over the last 6,000 years to become your royalty, your presidents, your people of power, all over the world in modern times. If you do not have a certain bloodline, you have not a prayer of getting into a position of power. It makes no difference what your skin color is, what your race is, what your beliefs, what your nationality is. It's all about breeding. And the gods are really, really into breeding. Why? Because, let's say this, our vehicle said to you, I'm really into gardening. Gardening is the occupation of the gods. What happens when you garden? You grow things, yes? Yeah. And if you really are good, you get into experimentation, you might create hybrids. It's far beyond our vehicle, but again, the story of the old gods was that they came here and they brought some DNA and they rearranged some DNA and they bred with the humans. And this, in some terms, this was the most verboten thing that these beings could have done, mix their genes with the indigenous humans. On another level, which is quite natural, the multiverse is full of interbreeding. It is full of the game of the gods, which is to cultivate life. Animal life, plant life, human life is all about mixing and blending genes. The problem that you get into with these gods is that they have their petty disagreements. And lots of the issues that you deal with on the planet in terms of bickering, fighting, opposing, this is what you receive from the DNA of the gods, because this is what they play with. And all of this is looking to be resolved and healed. Because in larger terms, you are more spirit than you are physical. Yet in terms of being a spiritual being, you do not have the precision, you don't have the material to work with. So Earth is quite a fascinating place because it is the clay where things are formed. It is the bottom line where all these things can be experimented in the laboratory. And what is built in this solid physical laboratory then ripples out into all of these other domains of multidimensionality, etheric realities, and this. So there are quite a cadre of beings, particularly in the military, whose job it is to go on location and to jump time and to receive these visitors when they are here to return. And these visitors can be extraordinarily multidimensional. They may take beings with them. They may help vacate some people off the planet. The story is very complicated.